how's everybody feeling? Oh, okay. All right, okay, guess what? We're going to have a competition before I start. Who loves competitions? You love competitions? Okay, I'm just kind of looking at the room here because I was hoping we'd spread out, but that's okay because I'm going to get per section, you're going to yell out, "We rock," and the loudest wins, all right? All right, so "We rock," you have to say it as loud as you possibly can. I know, because you freaking rock. All right, so we're going to start here. All right. All right, as loud as you can. After 3. 1, 2, 3. We rock. We can do better. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that was good. All right, okay. After you kind of got an advantage here, haven't you? All right, after 3. 1, 2, 3. We rock. That was pretty cool. Okay, after 3. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, who do you think? I'm actually thinking, what's going on? Definitely, I loved the energy on this side of the room. It totally rocks. Okay, so today I'm going to take you on a wonderful journey around courageous leadership because if you think about courage, I believe that courage is the most important virtue. You know, I believe that without courage, you can't practice any other virtue consistently without having courage. So I'm going to be taking you today on a journey around why courageous leadership is so important. So how does that sound? Okay, how does that sound? Yes, come on you guys, I was batting for you. Anyway, all right, so if you think about what makes a leader, you know, there's lots of words if you think about what makes a leader. There is courage, there is kindness, there is, having vision, showing respect, you know, coaching others, lifting others, inspiring others. I mean, what else makes a leader? Yell it out. What makes a leader? Empathy, absolutely. What else? Trust, that is fundamental. What else makes a leader? Consistency. Did someone say honesty? Yep, love that. Courage, absolutely. Thank you. Inspired. Knowledge. Yes, putting others first. Passion, absolutely. But I think, you know, all these words are really important, and it's really interesting to think about what these words mean to you. But I personally think that we've made leadership bigger than what it is. I think we've made leadership about role or title. You know, I think that we look at leaders out there, past and present. You know, anyone that you kind of think about who's a leader. It could be, Gandhi. It could be Mother Teresa. It could be Barack Obama. It could be Scott Morrison. You look at leaders in the past and people that are leading today that have got those role or titles. Or we kind of look at leadership about being a CEO or having manager in your title. Look, some of those leaders are fantastic leaders. However, leadership isn't about role or title. This is why I think we've made leadership bigger than what it is. Leadership is about an attitude, it's about a mindset, it's about a choice, and it's about action. So don't look at the word leadership or anything that you kind of look at in terms of or identify as great leaders and go, hey, I'm not going to give myself permission to stand up and be a kind and courageous leader. Because leadership is an attitude and it's a mindset. And I'll share just a quick story around why I see you all as leaders, because who here actually sees themselves as a leader? Put your hand up. Okay, probably I'm thinking 30% of the room, and I understand it's a confronting question to ask. You know, it's kind of like you're not going to be sitting there going, whoa, yeah, I'm a rock star in this leadership space. Look, I get it. I'm going to ask the question at the end because I think it's a really important question to reflect on because I see you all as leaders, and I'm going to just share a very short story around why. You know, I got into this space, nearly 14 years ago. And the reason why I got into this space was I ended up coming back home from Shanghai, China, with my 4-year-old daughter, and I had become a full-time solo mum. Something really unexpected and devastating happened to me over in Shanghai, and I moved back here to start all over again. I was left with $2,000 in the bank, and I was left with a really crappy Holden Commodore. Now, Holdens are good cars, but this wasn't a good car. And I thought, what am I going to do? And back then, because I was a full-time solo mum, and I still am today, it was really challenging for me to find opportunities that would offer me flexibility. Anyway, I won't take you through the whole story. However, I ended up finding an opportunity where I got an opportunity to teach and coach engineers and superintendents about leadership. I basically said to the person at the time that was interviewing me that I knew lots about leadership, and I was completely faking it because I knew I needed to provide for my daughter. And I worked so hard. I don't know how many hours per week to start my life again with my daughter that I actually saved enough money for my first investment property. And I bought it, and I've got amazing property managers that still today look after that property, and they're taking care of that, as that is a future for my daughter and I, that property. So I look at everything that you do every day to help people like myself. That is leadership. You're actually making a difference to people like myself, and I want to say thank you. The other thing I want to talk to you about, which I think is even more important that we are being courageous and kind in our leadership, is this other notion around how we can actually do that. How can we be the best that we can be? Because when I look at this kind of world that we're living in today, don't you think that we need more kind and courageous leaders? Don't you think we do? Yeah, absolutely. And it actually starts with us. But what's more important than leadership and us being the best leaders that we can be each and every day, where you are making a difference to people like myself, is that our most important resource is time. You know, I don't know about you, but how many of you are sitting here going, I cannot believe it's nearly November? Do you actually, as the months go past, you go, wow, I can't believe how quickly time is going? It is going so quickly. And we only live once. And the thing I want you to think about when it comes to time is, look, leadership's important. Success is important. Can I tell you what is more important? Is how we're making a difference and an impact to others. It's about the legacy that we're leaving behind. That is far more important, is the impact we have. Because life doesn't give you what you want. Life gives you who you are. Life gives you who you are. And this is why I want you to see each and every one of you as a leader in this room, because you only live once. This is one of my favourite quotes by Cinderella. Have courage and be kind, for where there is kindness, there is goodness, and where there is goodness, there is magic. And there's absolutely magic when it comes to being kind and courageous. And there's so many great kind and courageous leaders out there. You know, if you think about, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Princess Diana, Rosa Parks, such amazing kind and courageous leaders. And there's so many leaders out there that are not, making small ripple effects in the world. And, they're the unsung heroes. And I want to share one of my favourite stories of one of my favourite leadership and leaders that has produced and demonstrates every day kind and courageous leadership. And this person's story started when she was 13. Now, this young lady, this beautiful young girl, was bullied so badly at school at the age of 13 that she tried to commit suicide when she was 14. And that was her first attempt at 14, and she ended up leaving school. She was probably in and out of hospital about 30 times over a period of 3 years. And can I tell you, and I'm very anti-bullying and poor leadership, the courage this young woman demonstrated to overcome what had happened to her was incredible to see. Then one day she says to her mother, you know what, I have decided that I'm going to use my experience and my story to help other teenagers. I want to speak at a school. And her mother looked at her and said, wow, that is incredibly courageous. So her mother put it out there on social media. A school here in Brisbane actually approached this young girl and said, we would love you to speak at our school. She spoke in front of 150 students. She had the courage to stand up and share her story, and she spoke about kindness. She spoke about compassion. She spoke about being non-judgmental. She spoke about how we need to lift each other up. And the change and the emotions that happened during that talk and after her talk was phenomenal. There wasn't a dry eye in the house. Then she had decided after she spoke that she wanted to show kindness. And she'd seen this amazing TED talk called Lollipop Leadership by Drew Dudley. And if you haven't seen it, it is a great TED talk. And she had decided that she wanted to go back and hand out 150 lollipops to these girls, to these students. Anyway, she decided to actually put together 300 lollipops because she wanted to give 2 to each person. She went back and she spent a whole week putting individual kind notes on these lollipops and handing them out at the school about 2 weeks later. Again, the school couldn't believe the act of kindness. And her mother decided to post her act of kindness on social media and tag this TED Talk speaker. Within 5 minutes, this TED Talk speaker reaches out to the mother and says, I need to speak to this young lady. She is amazing. 2 weeks later, he's on a mountain in Canada, standing there going, I cannot believe the act of kindness and courage that you showed. Because the day your mother sent those photos to me on social media was the day that the anniversary of the day I lost my fiancé to mental health issues, and that you saved me that day. Now that daughter, that child is my daughter. Now, she's 17 now, but she went out there and put herself out there and showed so much courage and kindness. If she can do that, anyone can do that. And you're all doing that. You're actually helping people like myself in the work that you do. She is definitely one of my favourite stories. So how can we, when you're sitting here going, gosh, okay, I know this makes a difference, how can we, in terms of create that magic? Because if you think about it, kindness is contagious, yeah? Isn't kindness contagious? And don't you get on this, I call it the kindness high when you're being kind to someone. It helps with anxiety when you're kind to someone. When you're kind on purpose, imagine the ripple effect that will have on others. Kindness matters. So I want to explore kindness just a little bit today because I think it's really important that you get a sense around how you can be kind. You can be kind by caring about others. Okay, all you need to do is care about people around you. Guess what? Leadership is about others. Leadership is about how we can inspire others to do more, be more, learn more. That is leadership. It's about caring. We're not machines. Sometimes I think we forget that. If you want to get great results from people, show kindness. Okay, it is the research and the work that I'm doing around the globe, around this space, and I'm doing a lot of research around kindness and courage for my next book. And the research and the stories I'm hearing around kindness and the difference it makes for us in terms of engagement and performance has been astronomical. And it's interesting, the research that came out of Harvard, the one thing that is stopping executives in terms of climbing their career ladder is their inability to actually create trust. And how do you create trust? You create trust by being friendly, by being warm, by being vulnerable, by being authentic, by being kind. First impressions count, and these things matter. Kindness and trust go hand in hand. Okay? It's also about being supportive. If you want to be kind, be supportive. One of my favourite questions is, how can I help you? What can I do to help you? That is one of my favourite questions I asked people around me and my team. It's also around giving feedback. I'm a great believer in giving feedback and helping people, in developing people to lift them up higher. I'm a great believer that kind is being clear, being unkind is being unclear. Okay, I think that's really important. And it's also about recognising and appreciating others. Because at the end of the day, again, the research is coming out in this space around, especially our future generations, we're not really interested in much as we were, in the past, but our future generations are mostly interested today in recognition and appreciation. They want to be recognised. They want to be shown gratitude. They want to be, they want you to say at the end of the day, thank you. Thank you. And it's also kindness builds connection. I don't know how many of you get stuck in this whole, turning up to work, and who finds that they're spending too much time on their phones or having conversations on their phones? I don't know, have you ever noticed that in terms of people walking down the street on their phones? People ordering a coffee on their phones? Who's noticed that? And look, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but the power of connection. I mean, has anyone got a phone I can borrow? Oh, thank you. Do you mind if I use you an example? What's your name? Hey, Scott. Okay, I'm going to give you some really interesting research after this. Hey, Scott, how's everything going? It's just such a busy day, isn't it? Yeah, it's been great. Hang on. Someone's just tweeted something about me. Hang on 2 secs. So what else has been going down? Hang on, someone's on Facebook. Hang on, I just have to like it. So what else has been going down?
I would have stopped talking to you.
Oh, really? Because I'm here. I'm talking to you.
I would have stopped talking to you.
But how often do we see that? People are like this. We're not connecting. What's it? Here you go. Thank you so much, Scott. How different is this? How are you going today, Scott?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, you're looking smashing. Yeah, thank you. Having a great day?
It has been a great day. Console said they'll go and give us 6 months free on the subscription.
Oh, did they? That's fantastic. Yeah, they said they were going to give me a lot too before. Anyway, I'm going to chase Charlie up a bit later. He promised a few things to me. Yeah, I know, because everyone's getting kindness. He's just showing kindness. So, yeah. Thank you. But how much of a difference is that when we're connecting and showing kindness? Yeah. And get off your devices, because can I tell you that there's some another great research around. If you want me to share any of this stuff or any links, any of the research or videos or anything that I've shared from today, just reach out to me, because there's another really great piece of research. Again, there's a TED talk on this around how your social life can help you live longer. And the number one thing that the research has shown, I mean, we are social beings. This is a social organ. The number one by far that helps us live longer is connection, and it's everyday connection. So when you're buying a cup of coffee, you go, thank you for making my coffee today. When you're at Coles, how are you? Thank you for helping me with my groceries today, versus, yep, I'll have a skinny latte, thanks. Is that kind? No. It's rude, and it's not even showing that you're present. So just every day make sure that you're being present and you're connecting, and I call that leadership by walking around. Get off your devices and start leading and connecting with those people, and it'll also help you live longer. How does that sound? Don't you want to live longer? Being kind helps you live longer. Connecting helps you live longer. Okay, so there's just a few tips around kindness. The next thing I want to talk to you about is courage, because I'm really passionate about courage. Don't you think that we need more courageous leaders? Yeah, we do, don't we? We need more courageous leaders. And I get it. I believe that, courage and fear go hand in hand. One of my favourite sayings is courage is fear, but you're just holding on a moment longer. So when it comes to courage, the 4 things that I focus on when it comes to the work that I do and the work that I do in my coaching and development of leaders, is I focus on 4 things when it comes to courage. And I'm going to share those 4 things. It's very easy to remember. It's F, U, C, H. Okay? That was supposed to be funny? No, okay, don't worry. All right. I'm supposed to laugh at that one. All right. The first thing I want to talk to you about is F, and that is focus. What are you focusing on? Focus is everything. I always say attention goes, energy flows. So what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on the fear, or are you focusing on the courage? Okay? It's interesting from a neuroscience perspective, super passionate about neuroscience and how the brain works, is the brain is motivated by 2 things. Threat, reward, okay, safety, fear. Okay? But in terms of neuroscience, in terms of evolution, we tend to gravitate more towards fear and threat, again, to keep us alive. But we have to embrace and get through fear to get to courage and reward. So the reason why I look at focus is I look at what I'm focusing on. Am I focusing on things that'll help me be the best I can be, to be truly courageous? Am I focusing on each and every day being kind and being the best version of me? Now, there's a great part of the brain called the RAS, the reticular activating system. Has anyone heard of the RAS? Yeah, it's a super cool part of the brain. Obviously, there are lots of different parts of the brain that are cool. But the RAS determines what you focus on. Okay, so the brain's taking and they say, gosh, millions of bits of data per second. The brain can only take in 7 units, give or take a few units. We determine those 7 units. So I'll give you an example of how the RAS works. So I need a volunteer that has bought a car recently. I'm sure you guys are buying cars all the time, yeah? Like, lots of cars. No, okay. Okay, who's bought a car? Oh, awesome. Okay, what sort of car?
Mitsubishi Triton.
Triton Ute. What colour? Blue. Oh, nice. Did you go looking at different brands? Oh, okay. And since you've bought it, have you been seeing it more often than not on the road? Yeah. Has anyone experienced that? Yeah, and you're kind of driving and then you kind of, yeah. And you're walking down the street and you're going, where is that Mitsubishi? And sometimes you go, oh my gosh, did I choose the right colour? Because everyone's, yeah. I did that recently with a car. Anyway, so yeah, that's an example of the car analogy. That's an example of how the RAS works. So the RAS focuses on, it's DIPI, D-I-P-I, dangerous, interesting, pleasurable, important. So when you're going to buy a car, it's interesting, it's pleasurable, okay, it's important depending on your driving, it could be dangerous. But that's what the brain's always on the lookout. So when you've decided to buy a car and then you're kind of driving down the road or walking down the street and then you kind of see that, does that make sense? You see it more often than not because you've decided that's what you want to focus on. You've made a decision. It happens with all aspects of our lives. Everything. Attention goes, energy flows. So if you set your RAS to go, you know what, I'm going to focus on everything that's not right in my life. Because that's pretty interesting. I'm going to focus on all my weaknesses. Guess what? I'm not perfect, but guess what? I'm going to focus on all my weaknesses, my areas of development, what's negative about my life, what I don't have. What do you think your RAS is going to start to show you? Yeah, show you that data. Imagine if you switch the attention or the focus on, you know what? This is what's great about me. This is what I'm grateful for. These are my strengths and talents. This is what is good about my life. Hey, I know we're human. I'm not saying that we're dancing on rainbows every day, but it's really important that we look at what we're thinking and focusing about, okay, and focus on how you can be kind each and every day because I told you, as I said before, it'll make a great difference to you in your life by being kind and also how you can be brave and how you can be courageous because remember, we've only got one life. The next thing I want to talk to you about is you. So I've spoken about F. The next one is you, is actually you. Hey, self-awareness is key when it comes to courage. Okay, what makes me who I am? How can I be brave and courageous every day? What are my strengths and talents so I can be brave and courageous? Okay, the more you understand who you are, that self-awareness piece, the more you will really start to understand others and be able to help them be the best they can be as well. Okay, again, as I said, focus your RAS on your strengths and talents. We've got them for a reason. The next one I want to talk to you about is C. Okay, so I believe that when it comes to courage, you have to be compassionate. Okay, courage and compassion go hand in hand because I can tell you there's been so many times I've been really courageous and there's been so many times I've stuffed up, and I've learnt more from my stuff ups because I've been compassionate and gentle to myself than I have anything else. So I kind of really embrace fear and stuffing up now. But compassion is really, really important. So why is compassion important? Because you are a human being and you have to be kind and gentle because when you're kind and gentle to yourself, you're a lot more kinder and gentle to others. And I always use the analogy, again, thoughts have power, of a child. Okay, I'm sure you all know children in the room, yeah? You all know children, you've got children, nieces, nephews, stepkids, you've got children in your life that you kind of interact with or you love. Imagine if a child came up to you and said, I want to have a conversation with you. Imagine that child looking up at you and going, you know what, I want to be courageous, but I'm too scared. I'm scared I'm going to fail. I don't think I'm worthy. I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I'm smart enough. I don't think I'm pretty enough. I don't want to put my hand up and stand out. Okay, I don't want to be courageous and be authentic because can I tell you being authentic is truly courageous because I'm worried that people won't like me if I'm being true to myself. Would you look down at that child and go, yeah, you're right, you are not worthy and you are not smart enough? And would you say that to the child? No, you wouldn't. So why would you say it to yourself? And we do, don't we? And I'm not saying everyone does, but really watch what's going on here, because everything's getting pushed back into this amazing mind of ours. Talk to yourself like you would someone you love. The last one I talked to you about, I've spoken about focus, I've spoken about you, I've spoken about compassion, is habits. I'm a great believer that your habits and your character is built from your habits. So make sure that each and every day you have courageous and kind habits. Okay, and it starts with you. Habits are really, really important. So courage is the resistance to fear, mastery of fear, but it's not the absence of fear. It's absolutely not the absence of fear. But when you embrace fear and you see fear as being from a place of safety and going, look, if the worst can happen is I stuff up and fail, that's okay. At least I actually put myself out there and I gave it a go, because the last thing you want to do at the end of your life is look back on it and go, I didn't leave a life that had impact. I didn't leave a legacy that was about kindness and courage. Okay, and I want to leave a legacy where I'm being truly authentic. So this is what I want. I want you to see each and every one of you as leaders, because you are leaders. And think about it, I love this proverb. Okay, when you were born, you cried and the world rejoiced. Live a life that when you die, the world cries and you rejoice. And that starts with just being kind and courageous. That's all that leadership is. It's just about making a difference and making an impact. So I just want to say thank you for being here and listening to me today. It was such an honour and privilege to be standing in front of you and talking to you and making a difference to how you can be kinder and gentler and more courageous for yourself and for others. So before I get you to leave, or I think we're doing some stuff this afternoon, is let me ask you this question. Who's here sees himself as a leader? Put your hand up. Well, that's fantastic. I thought I had to pay some of you to put your hand up, but that's okay. But I just want to say thank you. And also, I've got a couple of books here, so I want to give away. Is that okay? Have we got time? Absolutely. Okay. I've got some lollipops here. So if there's anyone here that you would love to give a lollipop to go, you know what? I just want to say that you are amazing and you've made a difference to my life. Come and grab one. But I would love 2 people to yell out, okay, at the loudest, okay, that I am a leader. I reckon here? Yeah. Who was the other one? Who was the other one?
It was somewhere in here. I'm not going to point. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh, now I wish I had more books. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you,
so
Sonia.
Cool. Thank you so much. And come and grab a lollipop from me. Thank you. I'll be sitting back here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you so much. And